Poe or Jimmy Kimmel Live? Anyone?
Who got it?
This is a hard one. I even said it was hard. Anybody want to guess? Go ahead. You're in the middle. No, you can do your
That was a good.
Yes, I got to do it.
That was a good try. That was a good try.
Oh, you got
Yes.
wiped
Yes.
out.
Yes, yay!
What were you gonna say? The other
What's
one?
the other one? Oh, I already forgot.
Oh, all right.
All right, Troy, take your time. Take your time. Make them think about it for a minute.
This is the last question, and I think y'all will get this right. What GloZell video has had over 50 million views on YouTube?
You're ready to answer some questions, aren't you, man?
Is it the Cup song? Or is it My Push-Up Bra? Or is it the Cinnamon Challenge?
Ooh. Oh, she seriously beat
Ben
you.
did want to answer.
Yes. The Cinnamon Challenge.
Yay!
Swagger up.
Nice.
Thank you all for playing. Thank you all for playing.
All right.
Give yourselves a hand. Yes.
Yes.
Cinnamon tea.
Yeah, whenever you make cinnamon, think about GloZell. That's what it is.
Frame it up.
All right, let's press on.
All right.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in.
We're filling this up.
You guys are
nicely,
just in time.
Hello.
You take any seat you want to, it's good. Are y'all ready for GloZell or not? Yeah. I think it's time.
Yeah? Okay, so let's get into it. Guys and gals and non-binary pals, we are so honored to be here with GloZell Green, a social media sensation who has taken the world by storm with her comedic videos and song parodies.
Yes. With over 4.5 million followers on YouTube, we are so honored to bring you GloZell today. She has over 700 million views, by the way, on YouTube. That's insanity. What do you think, Choi?
That's insanity, like you said.
That's insanity, right?
Yes.
I got like 264.
I got like 2.
I got a good 3. I got a good 3 views. That's all good though.
I bet you it was my mom and my dad, too.
Who's counting? Who's counting though, right? So the planning for this event was organized by 2 members of the Delta College's Women History Month Committee. Please welcome Mass Communication Professor Tara Kuslich Stayano.
Yeah, give it up. Give it up.
And Digital Media Professor Adriana Broger.
Come on
round of
down.
applause, y'all.
Come on
There we go.
down. Y'all take it over. We thank you. We'll be back. We'll come around with questions in the microphone and all that good stuff later.
Yay to our amazing student hosts. All right, go ahead.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to San Joaquin Delta College. We are incredibly excited today for our conversation with GloZell. We are even wearing green, you can see.
Right.
We're coordinated. My name is Tara Kuslich Stayano. You wouldn't think I'd have to turn the page to say my name, but here we are. Sorry about that. And I'm the discipline chair for multimedia, where digital media and social media, which is my area of expertise, reside as an academic area of study. Today's event is sponsored by Delta College's Digital Media Department, the Cultural Awareness Program, and the Women's History Month Committee. Today we are celebrating the culmination of what has been a fantastic 2023 Women's History Month programming by showcasing a true social media firebrand. We are stoked for what's to come next. Stoked and nervous, like she's not, I am. Before that happens, though, I would like to acknowledge the tremendous work of students in the D-Media 25A and 25B courses who planned, produced, and are now executing this event in person and online. Since the beginning of the semester, these students have worked on original audio, set design, creative branding, marketing, public relations, event planning, and all aspects of live production related to GloZell. Please join me in applauding our digital media students.
That's right, Tara, and it really is incredible. While there are some of us physically here in the space, we also want to acknowledge that this event is being live streamed a couple of different places. So you might be joining us via Zoom, perhaps via live stream, or maybe YouTube, oh, and also Instagram. So we are all over the place. So those of us that are physically in this space, welcome to everybody, but we also want to acknowledge our virtual audience. And of course, that is something that post the pandemic, we are just moving forward with all the time, people interacting in different ways. So I also want to give a grateful shout out to our digital media lab tech, Leo Marquez, for his expertise and his support. Where are you, Leo? Go, Leo. To those who may be interested in pursuing digital media classes, and you can see that this is live streamed, we have students wearing our camera, they're manning cameras. We have back there, Fatty is our director. We've got Felix controlling OBS. We have Arden Bones, and Anthony on cameras, and then Vanessa's rolling around as our main overall producer, and then all of our people in digital media 11, 21, and 31, who we said we need your support, and you are all here as well, and you have been all day. Thank you. If you're interested in a digital media class, I'm teaching 2 digital media classes this summer. Tara is teaching 2 social media classes, one social media.
One public relations.
One public relations, that's right. So if you're interested, we've got information for you in the lobby.
And now I have the pleasure to, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I don't do this often, folks. I get to introduce to you a new member of the Delta College faculty who is a perfect choice to introduce our esteemed guest to you today. Dr. Monique Fortunato is the Associate Professor of Biological Anthropology, who you will see soon is the reason we're all here today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Fortunato to the stage.
So if you're a fan of GloZell, then you have probably seen, and obviously we know that GloZell is the queen of YouTube, has been known this, and honestly, altogether, her videos have over 1 billion views. And one of the videos that we're going to watch as soon as it comes up in just a moment is one that kind of hints to our connection with Dr. Fortunato as well as GloZell today. So that is an MP4 that we'll be playing shortly. And in the meanwhile, I wonder, what is anybody here's favorite GloZell video? Cinnamon Challenge? Okay, Cinnamon Challenge, I think that was easy considering that is what, 60 million views right now, right? At 60 million views? Okay, what now? Oh, here we go, here's the video. I'll hush. Okay.
Hi. All right, is this on? I can't even tell. Is it working? We good? Okay. All right, so I'm here to introduce GloZell. GloZell was born in Florida to Ozell and Gloria Green. And for those who don't know, her unique name is a blending of both of her parents' first names. In 1997, she graduated from the University of Florida with a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in musical theater. And in 2003, she moved to LA to pursue a career as a comedian. Now, this is the beginning of a long biography of a woman that I've gotten to know not as the social media star that you're all here to see, but as family. So many years ago, my husband Brian, who you saw in the video, he told me that he had a cousin, a first cousin that had gotten pretty famous on YouTube. And I said, cool, and I didn't think much of it. Now, you need a little context here. You won't find two people more out of the loop about YouTubing than me and my husband, okay? So we thought that YouTube was where 80s music videos like went to die, okay? And that's it. I had no idea, right? Because I'm out of the loop. And how wrong we were, right? So fast forward to a few years ago. And we had relocated from Chicago to California for my work. And I'm commenting on a Facebook post of my mother-in-law's, and this lady GloZell sees it. And she starts putting together the pieces that her cousin Brian, a perpetual bachelor, had gotten married to me, and that we had a kid, we have a little boy named Evan, and we're living in California. So at this point, I start getting direct messages from GloZell saying, how did I not know about this? And our kids are the same age, and they're both only children, so we each only have the one child, and they're cousins, and you're in California, and all the rest of both of our families are back east, and so we're like, we got to get our kids together, we got to get together. And so instantly, a strong, beautiful relationship was born of this, okay? So now we make a habit of getting together on Thanksgiving at my house. Obviously, I brought her here, and we take the kids to Disney and Universal and stuff. And I'll tell you, it was when we went to Universal that I truly realized what an absolute force GloZell is. I didn't realize. So we couldn't go 2 minutes without somebody being like, it's GloZell, I need to get a selfie. And they'd run over, and she's always got this big smile and this big presence, and I'm like, wow, okay. So now I'm really curious, and I get home and I start doing my homework on GloZell, and I start to realize that my new favorite cousin has been busy shaping social media for over a decade. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. So defying Hollywood stereotypes, representing women of color and women in comedy, carving a new path in entertainment, and bravely putting herself out there every day with her big hair, green lips, huge personality. GloZell is totally fearless. Now, I'm new to Delta College, but I jumped right into the planning of our Women's History Month events, offering up GloZell when I saw that the National Women's History Alliance designated the theme for this year's Women's History Month as Celebrating Women Who Tell Our Stories. Because I couldn't think of a better representative in this modern digital age, as storytelling with humor has always been central to GloZell's relatability and success. So it gives me tremendous pleasure to welcome to Delta College my family, my friend, and social media phenom, GloZell.
Hello! Okay, let me get this on tape. You guys are great! Okay. That's my cousin right there. Hey! How are you? Hello, this is GloZell. Is you okay? Is you good? Because I want to know. Hello. Hello. Whoa. This chair is comfy, nice and comfy.
So, GloZell, were we just live on your Instagram?
Of course, yeah, I'm like, you never know. I film all the time, take pictures all the time, drive everybody crazy all the time.
That's what we figured. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Monique for saying, because seriously, how perfect, right? When you heard what the theme for this year's National Women's History Month, I mean, good grief. Round of applause for GloZell one more time.
Thank you. I would get up, but this seat is just like nice and comfy. It's so low, I'm gonna need help.
We kind of want to keep you here.
Yeah, just a little bit. There's a trick to the seat.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. We're so excited because honestly, we know that you're epic. You're known as the queen of YouTube, the mother of YouTube.
That part. I mean, I started before anybody really was on it at all. So, I mean, now people know.
Right.
You have kids like, I'm doing videos and everything. Then people are like, what are you doing? Get a job. That's so crazy. You know, especially if you're one of the first people to do things and nobody has heard of it, then everybody's gonna call you crazy, silly, stupid, dumb until, you know, the president at the time invites you to the White House and it's like, well, that's my cousin. That's her. Oh, I'm so proud of her.
Exactly. Yeah. So we know, so YouTube, 2008, really, like you become viral, right, with the Cinnamon Challenge.
Yeah.
But how many years was it that you were on YouTube before the Cinnamon Challenge?
About 3 years.
Okay, right.
Yes,
okay, So at that point, take us to the beginning in terms of like, most of us know, you know, your hilarious videos. I mean, some of them live rent free in my head.
I keep watching the bird one, honestly.
But the lyrics,
sorry,
like
Monique.
my push-up bra will help me get my man.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Did you just fart or?
Is that your braille?
Is that your braille?
Is that your braille?
And your whole beat with it, like, and I know you do those, like, they just happen.
Improv. Yes.
Right, but you also have experience, your education. Then
Yes.
you did Groundling Theater.
Yes.
You did so much. So we want you to kind of take us through your journey, if you can, with just starting with an initial. How did it all happen for you? Some of us have had required reading of listening to your book and reading, right?
Good,
so
thank
your
you.
book, Is You Okay? And we want to know if you can take us through, like, for not everybody who's read the book, give us a little bit of chapter 1, how you started out. Tell us about the story.
Okay, I don't know how far you want me to go back or how I started, but you know, people kind of tell you kind of about yourself, like, oh, you're funny and this, but I never thought stand-up, I never thought comedy. You know, my dad was a pharmacist, I was gonna be a pharmacist, even though I'm like, you want one pill or two? Like, it was always a joke, everything was always light and funny for me. So you did your traditional, you take your dance classes, whatever, and if you're, I was brought up in the church, so there's always singing, you're always in front, playing a piano, that kind of a thing. And so I enjoyed that very much, and I was a people person, that's my thing. When I'm gonna jump to college?
Yes.
Okay. Because now I grew up on typewriters. See, y'all don't even know, like, what in the world is a
We've got a few of them around.
Right, we didn't have, computers me growing up.
You said college. You
Yes.
attended a community college.
I did go to a community college. Yes, I went to Valencia Community College. And so I definitely, that really saved my life. I wasn't a person that can go from like home and then boom, off, so I needed that time. And then I was like, okay, now I'm tired of my parents. I'm ready to go.
I can tell you, my students were really excited to learn that you'd gone to a community college.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Because it's that journey then, right? And then you transferred.
Yes, to University of Florida, go Gators.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely needed that community college because it was like, okay, you go home, but you're not home. You can still do other things. I couldn't just go from here to there.
Right.
So I ended up being an older student, but you know what? When I got to the University of Florida, I was ready to go. There's still people still kind of discovering themselves, and not everybody made it, but because I went to a community college, that helped me, and I went on, finished. When I left, I left.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, comedy. They had this thing called the Gator Growl, and they had different comedians come on. I'm like, I want to do that. I want to be a part of our pep rally one day. So I left there and I finally went to LA. You had to be in LA or New York. You still kind of need to be, but now with social media being everywhere, you can do things from anywhere. Most people are doing YouTube videos or now the TikTok at home. And your home could be anywhere. However, when you want to do like collabs and you really want to build and grow, you kind of need to be where other people are.
The network. Network of people.
The networking, yes. So a lot of them migrate to LA, or they're in New York. So those still have always been the mecca places for television, film, and social media. Okay, so someone gave me tickets. Someone worked somewhere in NBC, and they said, well, you know what? I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like you get there, and it's like you just don't get an agent because you're the best. And I'm sitting there, and my friend was like, I work at NBC. I can get you tickets to the Tonight Show. Now, you guys are young, but back in the day, like even before Jay Leno, you don't even know who Jay Leno is. Before that, there was a man called Johnny Carson, and he was what you call the man. Like if he gives you a thumbs up after you do comedy and you sit on that couch, your life is made. So I grew up with just watching the Tonight Show. I'm like, if I could just get to the Tonight Show. So I'm watching live shows. I'm watching all the greats, because here is this man who's seasoned, and he's interviewing everybody that's anybody in the industry, and I'm watching. So I end up going more than 300 times in a row. And I saw his work ethic. Yes. At the time, it was Jay Leno. He never missed a day. He was always professional, always friendly. And even my smile, he would go right before the pictures. And so I do that too. It's like a tribute. A tribute. There's somebody else called Carol Burnett, and she would do this. And I always wanted to do my thing. And so since Jay Leno did that is my tribute to the classics, to the people who did that. Now, they did comedy that was clean. Yes. Now, clean is different now. Family comedy is different now. But back then, you could watch with your mom and your grandma and your priest and your rabbi and whoever, and there was not like, oh, Lord, what are they saying? Oh, goodness, put your clothes back on. Oh, no. So I'm coming from that background of clean comedy, and I just kept that going. I love talking about the Kardashians and everything, but I want comedy that if they saw it, they're like, oh, that's funny. Not like, she talking about me. So I end up being, now sometimes it's a little slower because when you're mean, people tend to watch that quicker.
Yes.
But they crash and burn. There's so many people that started that's not there, and I'm still here, 10 years later, I get to be here at Delta College. And so that's amazing. So you want to go, you got to think long term. Okay. I wouldn't have been invited to the White House if there's like, well, she cusses all the time, and she's doing this, and she twerking over here, and she had a fight over there. Those kind of things wouldn't happen. You don't know what jobs you are missing out on by the stuff that you click like on or stuff that you post. Trust me, because I see people, I'm like, oh, I would love to work with them, and they're so nice. I met them in person, but look at what they're posting. I'm like, I can't get involved with that. And they have this, I wouldn't say secret society, but people are looking at what you are posting and what you click like to. And it's crazy. So you just be conscious of that. You're on all the time, and don't think like, I'll just take it down. There's no takedown. Somebody screenshot it. Somebody can get it out the cloud. Somebody can.
And those screenshots, they live forever.
Forever. I'm like, oh man, what have I posted? And so far, so good. But I'm like, man, did I send anything?
This is fantastic. You've given us. We wanted a little history for folks. Who might be introduced to you today about like those people living under a rock. That's what I was gonna say. People living under a rock, because you got a lot of views. But now what we did was we actually asked our students before today to come up with a list of questions.
Okay.
So we've got kind of like a Q&A, and then we're also gonna have a Q&A for our audience. So if you have questions that you are burning to ask, our student hosts and MCs are gonna go around and we'll get to the questions. But
yes, you gonna ask me a question? You're like, I gotta ask them. Yeah, you in the green coat. That's good. Yeah, make sure you get a good question.
You can tell when they're getting ready in their head.
Okay, yeah,
get ready.
Okay. Black fingernails. You.
Okay.
Question.
See,
okay.
now you gotta be ready.
Anthropology class.
Okay. All right. So, Tara, you want to start?
I will take it. So you are referred to as the queen of YouTube. Yes. And one of the things that we're talking about with our Women's History Month here on campus is women in leadership. So as the queen of YouTube, the lead person on YouTube, let us know, what does that title mean to you?
What does that title mean to me? That means that, first of all, that I was one of the first ones, and that basically when I was one of the first ones, now other people can be queens too. I was called queen because there was nobody doing it. You know, that's it. I mean, just, there could be, I want there to be other queens and kings and others.
But your partnerships and collaborations.
Oh, yes.
You had Jenna, you had Colleen, you had,
yes.
Right.
You know, and one of the collaborations was like, oh, you know, can you come to my birthday party? And I was like, do y'all know that I'm a middle-aged black woman? Like, you want me to show up? And I show up, and it's like, it's Ariana Grande. You know, like, she wasn't.
In the bathtub.
Right. Like, we're doing videos, and like, she's watching me. You know, when we go to Disney, this is one of my favorite stories. We go to Disney, and someone's like, GloZell, oh, and they hand their camera to Ariana Grande to take a picture with me. And I was like, I hope this girl never ever finds out that I was with Ari, because Ari took the picture. You know, like, you had a bigger star there. You know, but like, she's probably like, oh, Mr. Where you going? Where you going? That's story.
Oh, he's taking pictures. He's cool. He's taking pictures.
I was like, is that one of my cousins? Where's he going?
So let's talk about that and about like what has that meant to you in terms of like the woman, the queenship, the sisterhood, because you have talked about how Carol Burnett,
yes.
you already addressed Carol Burnett,
yes.
right, was always a mentor for you.
Yes.
And then, but you've also been able to mentor other people.
Yes. Well, you know, when you put yourself out there, there's somebody, first of all, there's going to be some people that love you, and there's going to be some people who don't. Don't listen to the people who don't. But the people who love you, you know, you are influencing them, and there's so many, anybody that's come up after me, for the most part, you see me, and you're like, I can do that. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm watching what you call
cable.
I
can do that, though. I don't know
I don't know that I can do that.
Well, you're doing it now. You're like, you're interviewing, you're here, you know, you're in green.
I can't eat a ladle of cinnamon.
No.
Like, I clearly didn't know what I was doing.
I don't know that I can lick the octopus.
No, and it was sticking to my mouth. I was just like, this is not a smart thing to do, you know.
But interviewing President Obama.
Yes.
I mean, you've got, and I love
He
it.
smelled
how
good,
was
y'all.
that
He
moment?
smelled good.
That's what we want to know, GloZell.
He smelled good. Honey, cousin. Let me tell you, cousin. They were like, do not touch him. I was like, okay, I got this. I'm not going to touch him.
Were you tempted? Were you tempted?
Don't.
But
well, let me tell you what I did.
Tell him.
So I'm like, they're like, don't touch him. And I'm like, don't touch him. No. Okay, he's going to. So you stand up, you're just like, and you sit back down, and he's going to interview. And I don't know what, it was just like, ow! And then I'm hugging him like, I'm going to get shot right here.
Oh my God.
I was like, and then I froze, and I'm like, now I'm clutching too long to the president of the United States. But I'm like, well, they can't kill both of us, you know, because I'm too close. I'm like, they're not going to take a shot now. And now you see people like talking into the wrist, and I was just like, it seemed like hours, but it was like seconds, and I was just like, he's like, I need you to let go of me, GloZell. And I'm like, he knows my name. He knows my name, you know.
So you were just like there, and then you were like, I have to do it. I have to do it.
And that's when I was like, oh, he smells so good. He smelled like sandalwood and power. Oh. The whole time I'm like, Michelle's going, you know. I'm like, I'm not as strong as her. I'm like, oh, goodness.
So is that your favorite interview?
Well, hey, you know, how do you top that?
Right?
How do you top that?
Okay, but outside of Barack, outside of President
I
Obama.
like that we're on first name basis with Barack.
I mean, you hugged
exactly.
him, so.
Yes.
When we say sandalwood and power.
There's more of a relationship there, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Okay, so outside of President Obama, next.
Next would be, I voiced a character called Rosie Puff on Trolls, the cartoon characters Trolls. And my grandson is Justin Timberlake. And I thought, I'm like, that's really cool. And I interviewed Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendricks, who played Poppy. And so that was really cool. Because for my daughter at this time, who not into politics, so President Obama, she don't care. You know, but Poppy and Branch from Trolls. This is amazing. My mom is cool, you know.
Yes.
Finally.
Yes. And has your daughter seen Wreck-It Ralph?
Yes, she has. She has. So she's like, oh. So, and I'm teaching. She's 6 now. So I'm like, okay, you talking to this thing, you hear your voice, and then there's different characters, and she's like, oh, that's great. I want to do that. Like,
And your daughter is kind of becoming a bit of a social media star on your
Absolutely.
channel as well, because I'm seeing a lot of her there,
Yes.
a lot of you interacting. How is she liking that?
She's loving it. Now, she's been in the limelight since birth because I had a surrogate, and everything that I was documenting, that, you know, she was in People magazine 9 times before
Right.
she was even born. They're like,
right.
okay, here she comes, and here's the surrogate, and they put every step of the way. So she was already kind of out there, and then we were on Vanity Fair. And so she's been in it, but now she's more aware of it. And plus, she just thinks everybody knows us. You know?
Oh, I bet.
Because her name, I'm GloZell, she's Ozell. People already know her name, and she just feels like everybody's so friendly. They know her. You know, so
Everybody's so friendly.
everyone's so friendly. They know her. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Now, you touched on something that's a question a little bit further down the line, but you've been very open about your struggles with your audience. You are incredibly authentic. You
Thank
just
you.
talked about the surrogacy and
Yes.
all of that. How do you, as a woman, how do you maintain that balance between what you want to share and what you don't want to share? And also, you also addressed in the book, coming to it as a Black woman later in life, right? You talk very openly. I'm 10, 15 years older than a lot of these folks.
I'm way older. So what is my question, the beginning part of the question is, how do I maintain some kind of
How do you
balance?
navigate what you want to share?
Well, when you start sharing, I was just like, okay, I think it's time for to have a child. I didn't realize it was going to take that long. You know, because I've never had any health issues. I didn't think there was going to be an issue. So some of the things start off like I didn't think it was going to be much to tell. Now I've already started, and now we're out there.
Okay.
Now, if I knew, like, I'm going to tell all this, that I probably wouldn't have known, wouldn't have done that. However, it has built my audience in different ways.
Sure.
People who only knew me like as that fool that just almost died eating cinnamon, and then it's like, oh, well, you know what? She interviewed the president, and also at the time Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton at the time, and. So here we go. So that's a different audience coming in. There's some adults coming in that's not necessarily children. That's not necessarily looking for like the foolishness, the crazy stuff. Then here comes the fertility issues. And so there's a group of people who don't have kids, obviously, because they're moms. And also it opens up to anybody who's using surrogacy, which are also, I want to make sure I don't mess up with this. My gay community,
Absolutely.
Okay. Because my gay community, we were in the same boat. You need someone else to have the child if that's what you're going to do. So that opened up a whole nother community.
Yes.
So here I'm at Pride, I'm here, and I'm like, oh, yes. Where I'm normal wearing green lipstick. It's okay that we're all colorful. Nobody can, you're my girl. I'm like, okay. So the audience kept growing and changing. So I have people who know me at 5 and people who know me at 80, people who know me at somebody's right-wing church and somebody who's like, hey, we're at Pride, so that's been amazing.
And that's been a big growth thing too, because you've been in the game for a while now. And
Yes.
I'm not calling you old,
I
but
don't
you've
mind.
been in the game for a while
I'm
now.
old and I'm still here. I don't have a problem at all.
And one of the things that
I'm 50. Black don't crack, but it's starting to get. I'm 50.
So one of the things
That's my cousin right here. She all shout. People are like, is that really my
she won't let
cousin?
you claim her. That's Christina. She's one of my students.
Hey.
So in terms of that evolving audience, because basically you have an audience that you had 10 years ago or so, and so how do you continuously adapt to the changing times of social media? Because it seems like every couple of years there's something new that comes around. If you're really big on TikTok one year, you may not be on another year. Like, how do you keep adjusting and saying, you know what, maybe I should pivot to this, or maybe I should pivot to this?
Well, what helps to pivot to whatever's going on is to be in the pulse of what the youth are doing, what they're interested in. Because, you've got still people maybe running things somewhere that are like, 100 years old, and you know, like if I was a person that only stayed with the typewriter, I wouldn't be where I was, and I was older, you know. So you have to, and also be authentic to yourself. You know, like I've been a clean comic, and there's been times like I'm like, if I threw a couple of MFs in there, you know, like then my audience might grow, and I was just like, no, you know, Andy Griffin didn't do that. And, you know, I'm like, no, Happy Days didn't do that. I'm naming shows that you don't know. But now they're probably, you know, resurfacing somewhere. But those shows, they were funny, more community, they were funny, and they didn't do all that. Right. Yeah. And that's where I was growing up from. Now, I could laugh at the best of them, but for me, you know, I'm like, I can't do that. And so that helps anybody, I can show you videos at school. I'm showing you videos at this camp. I'm showing you at this birthday party and things like that. Or somebody political can be like, oh, you know what? Why don't you come speak here? Or why don't you do that? Because I'm just kind of neutral. I'm like, I love you all. You like me. I love you. If you feed me, then I'm crazy about you. You know. That's my cousin. She cooks. I'm here.
So I love that, and you touched on something that you said, your audience has just grown with you. And I think that's really critical for those of us that think about creating content, because sometimes you think you really need to be in a niche, right? That you create something and you really stay there, but you've been unafraid to just go wherever you need to.
Try something new,
And trying that something new. So I think that's a really good message for folks who want to create, but are sometimes hesitant to say, well, for instance, in our digital media classes, students have to create a media career portfolio where they have to have a title, where they call themselves something.
First of all, can I stop and just say that is amazing that there's classes like that? Oh. You know, like that's amazing.
Thank you.
Like I say, like I was on a typewriter. You know what I'm saying? There is the social media classes. Are you kidding?
I feel like we should challenge our students now to do something with a typewriter. I feel like they could get some
GloZell social media challenge. Look at me say no.
With this.
Christina said nope.
It's just amazing how far we've come when there's like, what are you doing? That's so crazy. That's down to, like, now we're teaching classes on it.
Yeah. Tara's got one this summer.
Yeah, we teach strategy, we teach branding, we teach positioning. But part of what Adriana, I think, was trying to ask was when you think about all of those things, a lot of times our students, our content creator students, the ones who come to us because they want to create content, they want to go into social media, they think they have to find a niche immediately. They think they have to hone in on something, and that has to be it. And one of the things we tell our students is this is going to be an evolving process, because you may change what you may not get hits in a certain area, but you may in another area. So maybe you can address that, like the evolution.
You don't know. I'm telling you, you're going to get the right lighting and the right concept, and you're going to get, oh my goodness, this is going to work so much, and I'm pulling this great star coming in it, and 2 people watch it, and you're just like, what? And then you're going to be sitting there one day and be like, oh, you know what? This butterfly is really cute. 5 million hits, and you're just like, what? What? I don't understand. So you have to put yourself out. You don't know what, within your realm of who you are, put yourself out there, and you never know. Like when I first started wearing green lipstick, it was like, oh, I saw some green lipstick, I put it on. The hate. It was like one of the biggest videos at the time, because I'm like, green lipstick. And then I was like, okay, I won't wear it anymore. Where's the green lipstick? I'm like, I thought y'all hated it. You know, you can't always go first of all, don't read it. But if you do, you can't always just go buy it, because people just, there's some weird person, 97342, that's just like, got nothing else to do, and then they be like, oh, you acknowledged me? Oh, I'm sorry that I said all that, and just like.
But let's go back to what you just said. You said don't read it. So are you saying don't read your comments?
Don't read the comments?
Because the comments can be all kinds of ways.
They can be
mean. The comments, I'm telling you, you got to have your mind right, and you got to have your heart right. You have to be strong. Okay. Because you see people that you wish that you were like, and you're like, well, why are they in rehab? How come they committed suicide? Why they do that? They reading the comments, You thinking that you're great, and then somebody, I remember once somebody, these references are so old, someone was like, to me like, oh, Danny Glover is looking really good today. I'm like, well, you calling me Danny Glover? Like, what? On that particular day, I'm like, well, when wonder why they said that. Millions of comments. Like, oh, you're so cute, you're so nice, you're so funny, you're so great, you're so this. And I'm like, well, why they call me? And like, how insulting is that? That's not that insulting, Dunn and Glover, whatever.
But you're a human being.
But exactly. And you're just like, oh. So you really, for this business, if I'm telling you, there's somebody who just wants to tell you that that's just all this is, because they don't know what they're doing. They want to do what you're doing, and they can't figure out how to do it, and they can hide behind 7532. You know, like you don't know who they are. You know,
but you got a whole chapter. Haters gonna hate.
Haters are gonna hate. Yeah. You know, but you have to know for sure what you're doing, and just put it out there and keep going. And you'll see some of the greatest greatest people in the world, they're just like, well, somebody said something about me. If you saw them backstage, and I'm just like, what? I just saw you in the movie. You upset that somebody, you know, like, they're human.
Right.
You get upset. You go to the Oscars. You slap somebody because you got to be in your right mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody.
Right.
Can lose it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I start off with my meditation, you know. I text Monique, I'm like, okay, I'm doing my meditation. Because somebody here could be like, you know what, you look amazing. And then somebody will be like, you know what, that green look like, and I'm like, ah! You know, you don't know. So you've got to build, so in some areas, people, you build up your strong armor, you know, however you want to, you got to build it up before you go out, before you go on the internet, because there's anybody in the world.
And you know, GloZell, I think that's good life advice, period, right? Yeah. Because we're seeing that anywhere. That's good life advice, but really amplified when you are in front of the camera, when it's you're putting yourself out there. I mean, Monique said it in the intro, you're brave enough to put yourself out there, because a lot of us consider it. A lot of people think every day, okay, you said anybody can do it. I don't think so. I don't think so, because it's difficult to put yourself out there. It takes a lot of personal fortitude to know I am putting myself out there. People can judge me.
Yes.
And if they do, I have to then put my armor on and not see that. So.
Plus, I was grown, you understand? Like, y'all, some of y'all young, and y'all growing up with YouTube and Snapchat and all that. I was already grown, so I'm just like, who are you gonna tell me? I got a degree. I don't tell me that I'm Danny Glover. You know, so I'm just saying that it's a little hard for other people who's growing up, and you're gonna see comments at 5, 6, 7 years old. And, you know, people are commenting on my door. You know, you put them. We're doing TikTok, commenting already. Like, she's not reading that, you know. So a lot of it is great, but it's like, oh, you gotta get your hair done. You're like, I gotta get my hair done. I'm getting my hair done on Monday. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? I gotta like put a headband on, try to put these little crusty crusts back up in there, you know.
So at that personal level, like when you're creating content, like I think that one of the things that we talk about in our programs is the fact that this social media is not easy. Like I think that people have this idea that they're gonna
take a picture
in front of a camera, take a picture, and that's gonna be it. But the personal versus the private and how you balance that, like, are you a content creator 24/7, or do you have moments where you're like, I'm not a content creator right now, I can't do this right now, or how do you make those decisions where you're like, do you turn off ever?
I feel like I'm almost 24/7 at this point, and it drives other people crazy. Now, if you're around me, you know that I got my camera. I'm gonna take a picture. You know that. So everybody knows. Don't come up to me. At my daughter's school or church or wherever I am, and I'm like, I'm already ready. I'm gonna take a picture, and that's what I do. I'm natural at it. I like doing that, and it's almost 24/7. Something's especially when you've been in the game this long, you're like, well, what's going on? Now I have someone else that's younger than me that I was like, oh, these are the TikTok trends, which is so much easier than when I started. Like, the trends are already there. You just do them. That's it. I'm like, I'm coming up with stuff. I'm half killing myself with cinnamon and octopuses and everything. Like, you just do it. That's it. Okay, you're not even coming up with your own concepts, you know?
And
like,
it says it's trending already.
And I'm like, and most of the time I'm like, I don't understand why this is doing so well. What are we doing? You know, so it's come a long way. But you evolve or you gone.
I love that. I want to go back to the list of questions here because I think there was one that I think this is something that we have some folks in the audience who want to be where you are. They want to create content, right? So let's go to what advice would you offer to aspiring social media creators looking to grow their audience and develop a successful brand?
Well, it's consistency. You have to post, and you have to continue to post. People think like, and then you get discouraged because you post and you think like, oh, I didn't get thousands of hits. But I'm telling you, you post that even on TikTok, I post something and I'm just like, okay, should I take it down? I was looking at, and then 3 months from now, somehow someone posted it and now it's getting all these hits and just like, I was gonna take that down because according, to my standard of people, people clicking and like, especially coming from YouTube, that wasn't what you call a successful video. But you post, and you be consistent, Like I have this agents and, like we go off on audition, and it's 10 years. I have not gotten anything that I've auditioned for. Things that I've gotten, like trolls or whatever, because people already know who I am, and they're like, oh, we want you in this. Okay. So you just keep going. You just keep going. That's what I would say, consistency. And if you don't have that passion, if you don't like it, then you're not going to be consistent. Mm-hmm. So do what you like. I'm going to go back to because my cousin can cook up a storm. I'm like, you need to post, and you need to do this consistently. Yes, excellent.
What did she make this really good? You said she.
Last night it was ribs, and some coconut cake, and I'm just like, she didn't hear me like at 2 or 3 o'clock. She think it was her husband. I was up, I blame my cousin, but it was me.
I love it. Okay, I'm kind of moving around these. Tara, do you want to pick one?
Yeah, I think that everybody knows your trademark, You Is Okay.
Yes.
Right? But can you tell the audience the story behind You Is Okay?
Okay. One thing, long story, short story. Okay, I love the show Friends. Okay, again, a show that's been off the air for like 10, 15 years, but Friends. Okay, and there's a character called Joey, and he's like, how you doing? He always said, how you doing? So when I was doing stand-up, I would be like, how you doing? And then there's a television show called Wendy Williams, and she'd be like, how you doing? And I was like, people gonna think that I was doing this before, and she's going, how you doing? And I'm coming out like, how you doing? But I'm like, so I'm like, I need to change that. So how are you? Are you okay? And one day I made a mistake. I was like, is you okay? Is you okay? And who says that? Is you okay? And that stuck. And so I kept with, is you okay? And the whole time I'm thinking like, my teacher's gonna think that I'm educated. You don't say, is you okay? And, but my English teacher's like, oh, it's funny, it's okay. I'm like, okay. So that's how it originally came out as an accident, and I just kept it going. Is you okay, y'all? Is y'all okay?
And when people approach you, do they want you, so let me ask you about when people approach you, like when they recognize you, because Monique had said that like you were at Universal Studios.
Oh, I can't go to Universal Disney.
So when people approach you, do they want you to, are they vlogging with you? Are they taking pictures? Are they asking you for the is you okay?
Yes.
Like what is the reception?
This is what I get most of the time. Let's say that you're me, and they're just like, they sneak.
They don't come up to you?
That drives me absolute. You go through phases within 10 years where you're just like, hey, just take the picture. I can see you. I'm right here. Like why do you just want a picture of me? Like, do it like that. Come take the picture.
We call those creeper shots. Like.
But then when I was born before cell phones, and then when cell phones came, usually it used to be just paparazzi is what you call it, like in the bushes. But now you got TMZ. People know who they are, and people want to be on TMZ. And then when cell phones came out, the paparazzi became 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds. 10-year-olds, and those are the ones that recognize me, and they're clicking in my face, and I'm like, where's your mama? You're supposed to ask or something, I don't mind taking pictures all day long, but I'm like, come on, just do it properly. Let's take a picture. Don't be just snapping, and I'm like, I'll take a picture with you no matter what, it's all good. So that's what they like to do. They like to sneak by. I'm like, I see you. I see you.
GloZell, can you tell us what role do you think that social media plays in today's society? Because you've been talking about this. It's like it's been weaved into the conversation. So let's just ask it outright.
What? Okay, social media, you really need to watch what you watch. You know, pay attention to what you watch, because you can go down a rabbit hole and then all of a sudden you snapping at folks, you know, you're upset, you know, your spirit not right, you know, or it's great because you have access to all kinds of wonderful things. You know, now that's not, the wonderful, great things is not going to be pushed in your face. You got to search for that. The horrible, what's going on in the world, it's just terrible, and these people hate those people, and those people hate that, and we shooting these people, and these shooting, that's what's going to be in your face all the time. So, and just as humans, we just can't take all that negativity. Either you're going to be the next one to snap. So you use it to define and find your tribe. You know, what you like, what makes you happy. Like, sometimes if it's just, I'm just gonna watch the water running down the mountain for today. They clear my head, because I'm gonna go in the grocery store and then somebody's gonna be like, you know, hiding behind the corn and trying to take pictures. And it's just like.
So the follow-up.
And we're talking just me. Imagine a Kim Kardashian or a Tom Cruise or somebody else, you know, all the time. You just trying to go to the store. I don't have a problem taking pictures. Other people do, because they feel like I've done my work and now I'm done. You know, now I'm going to the store. Now that's not your time, which is like, you need to know what you're getting into when you start. Now everybody is a paparazzi. Everybody has a camera.
Right. Oh yeah. The kind of, in addition to that, your platform does a lot to talk about mental health.
Yes.
And one of the things that we know is that social media can be very bad for your mental health. You just addressed that.
Yes.
One of the students have asked the question, what role do you believe social media should play in promoting mental health and wellness?
Well, okay. See, what might trigger me don't trigger you. So you really need to know what you can watch and how much you can watch. Like, I can't watch news. I just got to the point that I just cannot. I'm going to hear what's going on, but I don't need to see the footage. I don't need to hear the play-by-play. And I used to be one of those people, I need to know what's going on. And I'm like, okay, yeah. It just got to a point where I don't want to go out. This is really, you know, it doesn't sit right with me, where somebody else can, and now I can make a difference because I've heard about this issue, and I'm going to the Ukraine or wherever I'm going to do that, where I'm just like, this is too much. It's just too much. These kids and this and that, or the poor puppies, you know, whatever it is, it is too much. So you really have to be able to cherry pick what you watch. And realize that you are in charge. Just because you going like this, once you see that image, some of those images you just can't unsee. So you really need, especially if you have someone younger in your household, to really watch what they're watching, because it'll play out later on that I saw this, and that I can get away with this, or whatever this is, or something good. Yeah. So they need to put it. There was a time that they didn't show so much on TV when I was growing up. Now you can see so much gore, and I'm like, you don't even have to create horror stories. We have real horror stories going on in real life, people. But I turn it off. You know, just you know, you need to take a break. It's too much stimulation. It's too much all the time. But you can always watch me. I always talk that you go to my channel to get away from that. Like, for those of us that's taking a break from what's going on in the world, come here and let's laugh and do something silly, and then you go back. Because you got to take a break, no matter what. I mean, events need to be, you need to know what's going on, but you don't have to stay there.
Right.
You know. That's all.
I think that's really good advice about knowing and understanding what is out there, having your own boundaries and filtering when you need to, and unplugging. These are messages that we talk about.
Yeah, and I was going to say, one of the things that we discuss in our classes is kind of the message and the noise, and how much information is out there, like even disinformation. How much information is out there that you can be something like an island of happiness and an island where people can come. And do you when you create content and you're creating the funny pieces of content, like all your content's funny. But when you're creating that content, do you have a moment where you're thinking to yourself, somebody's gonna smile today with this. Somebody's gonna walk away happy from this, and
even if it's just me.
Okay.
Sometimes you put on like, this is funny, and sometimes it's only me that's watching that video. Like, we had a good time, didn't we, GloZell? Yep, we did. You know, nobody else cared. You know. But so you gotta enjoy what you're doing. That makes a big difference. And then if you enjoy it, then it's like, well, you know what? She's laughing at this. I'm laughing at the fact that she's laughing. I don't even care what she's laughing about. Like, and then create that, that ripple effect of joy that way.
Because I was thinking of your Rihanna
Yeah.
video.
Oh, the Super Bowl one?
The Super Bowl Rihanna
okay.
video.
Oh, what was she doing? I'm like, what is she doing?
And I think if anybody watched the show and then they watched you, it was like, oh yeah, that's pretty great. But I was thinking about like that moment of happiness for people because TikTok isn't long form, like it's not long form content, like it's something.
Because social media does change how long we can watch something.
Right.
Because we used to be able to watch a show.
Yep.
And then we had to put more commercials, so we don't watch that long. And then now, we had YouTube. There's 10 minutes. That's when I started. It was 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Now you had Vine that was 6 seconds. Seconds. And now TikTok is a little bit longer than that. But our attention span is just. If you look at something now and it's like, 3 minutes, am I gonna watch this? Do I have time for this? That's considered long.
Absolutely.
You have just answered one of their questions, which was about how your content has evolved in the rise of short form video content.
Right. I had a rude awakening with Vine. If you remember Vine.
I remember Vine.
Vine was seconds, and then overnight you had all these stars, and you're just like, well, what happened? You know what? You're trying to okay, is this? You try to wait because you're like, is this gonna stay? Because there's been so many things. Like I don't even know if Periscope is still out there. You have a Kardashian or a Jenner say something about Snapchat and that went down. And even TikTok used to be Musically. Like people so I was on Musically and well, what's TikTok? Now that's changed. So many things have changed and happened. So you have to adapt. You got to go with the flow or roll or get out. You don't have to stay in it. I did my time. It was good. But I'm still here. It's just still fun to me.
Now, we see that a lot of your YouTube fan base is rediscovering you on TikTok. And I was just scrolling through in preparation for today, and I was seeing comments like, you raised me.
Oh, yeah.
You raised me. I got through horrible experience because of you. What is it like for you to see those comments now and know that you influenced their early childhood, their formative 12, 13, 14. They were coming home watching you every day, and then they haven't seen you, and now they're rediscovering you. What's that experience like?
That experience is just amazing. It's fun. It's touching because just like they needed me, I needed them, especially when you're like, okay, now there's a new form. I'm starting over. And anybody gonna care that now? YouTube was your thing, and then it's like radio. Do y'all know what radio? There was radio, and then the radio didn't always transfer to television. Right. Because now we're seeing you oh, that's what you look like. Now you have television and movies, and now I'm like, YouTube to TikTok is. That everyone seems to be younger and it's faster paced, and am I gonna still be relevant? And so it's nice to see those things. It's like, okay, we found Mother, she's here. And I'm like, okay, that's good, great. And you keep on going. I love it. I raised you, and I need those comments. See, those comments help.
Right? I can imagine. They make me feel happy. Yeah, it's not bad. Nothing to do with it. It's like, oh, I love that. I love that for you.
Thank you.
So, in terms of this title, content creator, you were a content creator before we called it a content creator.
We were just people on the internet, weirdos, with strangers, and we finally got the name YouTuber.
Yeah.
And then, because that was all it was, but then when you had Facebook and Instagram, so you're not just a YouTuber, then you're an influencer. So that's where that came.
So how has kind of being a content creator before content creator was a thing helped you leverage those new audiences? And then you mentioned influencer too, because you are an influencer. So if you had to consider yourself something, do you consider yourself content creator? Do you consider yourself influencer? You're a businesswoman? You've got entrepreneur. Where do you see yourself now from that label from the label of when you started to the label of now?
I like the label of influencer, even though you're definitely making content. However, something like TikTok, I'm like, most of the stuff I didn't create. You know, it's already there. You like, this is the trend for today. Get on it. I'm like, oh, yabba dabba doo. You know, and like somehow yabba dabba doo is trending, and that's great. I don't know where they get this from. You know, like, oh, you just sit here and you have a little kid that's like, and you just put that in your video. So I feel like I'm not creating that, you know, but influencing still. So I definitely like, I use that. You know, because I'm not just a YouTuber anymore.
Right.
You know, so queen of all social media, but yeah.
So is that one of the ways that social media has changed? Because you're saying, like, I saw your teenage dirtbag video, and I know that was really big. That was really big for a few weeks, right? Like,
right.
Are we doing less original ideas and more jumping on trends? And as somebody who was an original content creator, continues to be an original content creator, are you having moments where you're like, I wish we could all just go back to original content creation? Or how is the difference in that?
Well, if we all went, see, you have to be open to other people making it however they make it. Mm-hmm. Because if we went back to original creation, you know, most of these people wouldn't be on the internet. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't be there.
No, you're right.
Because, so I'm like, we didn't come up with that. You didn't create that. Anybody could do that kind of a thing. I don't even know who's creating it. You know, I think maybe TikTok has people and they just put it out there kind of thing, and then we all just do that. And I'm doing that because that's what you're doing. Mm-hmm. But that's not how I started, and that's not how I'm going to finish, you know, because I'm still creating things. It's just not, people are looking for trends on TikTok. That's what's going on there. And that's fine. That's fine.
So now we talked about influencer, and I think this is a great segue to this next question that our students have, and it is, what boundaries or ethics have you put into place when working as an influencer, working with brands, working with, you spoke to the fact that you said you are a clean comic. So that's one boundary, but like, are there boundaries or ethics that you put into place when you decide who you're going to work with?
Yes, there can't be anybody who's, just, as far as I know, publicly dislike any particular group of people, you know. So my audience, a lot of time is female, and they skew gay, queer, you know, so I have to support the people who support me, and that's the bottom line. And I personally don't drink or smoke, so I don't tend to have those type of brand deals. However, if it's something that I can say like, hey, you know what, there's a party and this is the brand here, make sure you drink responsibly, then, you know, can work it, you know, that way, then that's fine. Even though me being green, you know, I'm like, man, there's some opportunity there with some brands, you know, with some wee, you know. I'm just like, I might have to reconsider some of that and try to brand it like, you know, like for moms or for, like try to, you know, try to put that money on, you know. It's like,
after work, de-stress. Okay.
Yes, detox with some green lip gummies or something like. So I haven't gone there yet, but I'd be thinking about it.
Yeah, well, see, that's great. That's part of that discussion that we talk about in class.
But I'm also coming from a place where things weren't legal. Like, it's a whole different world now. So I was terrified of some things.
Right.
Now that it's like, oh, it's on this corner, it's on that corner, you know. I'm like, okay, do I want to go there? It's fine. Some things are fine now, you know.
And that's interesting because I think this also speaks to the fact that you said, you know, you came into this already 40 years old, fully formed human, have your own thoughts, have your own experiences. And so you can navigate that discussion. But what is your thought on a lot of the younger people that are coming up, right? So, okay, my son, and Tara knows this story. My son was on Musical.ly with another kid who was on Musical.ly, and they both they would do videos together. Okay, the kid who, and I was teaching social, like doing all this stuff, and I was like, I just don't think it's appropriate. People were sending him money, he was getting money in his account, and I said, I don't know about this. My son at the time was about 15 years old, and I said, I'm just not comfortable with it. Okay, so I said, you can't do that anymore. He says, but Mom, but he's doing it too. I said, it's just what I feel, okay? That kid was Chase Hudson. Okay.
Oh.
So if you know about this, Chase Hudson is a Stocktonian who went to Bear Creek High School and is very much a TikToker, the Hype House originator. Burger King then had a brand. I mean, he's done a lot of brand deals. And so I say, you know, it's not something that I necessarily wanted my kid to be a part of at the time, because that was my choice and our parenting and our whole discussion.
And the internet was scary. People were scared of the internet. People don't know where you are.
Exactly.
And I had people, but my fans are funny. They're nice. They like order me pizza, and then when I open the door, like, and I'm like, I'm still gonna eat this pizza, but why y'all doing it to me like that? You know, like, I don't get like, you know, somebody trying to hurt me. It's more like, we want to see her. It's like, we're friends, you know, kind of a thing.
But I guess that's the thing. It's like, you know, so sometimes I think, okay, I'm super, super thrilled and super psyched, of course, for Chase and for his family, all the good that has happened there. But I think everybody needs to maybe, what's your perspective? Do you think that people need to really just weigh their own lives and see what that is going to look like for them? Do you really want to have your own, everybody knowing your business, right? So when we're deciding, do you want to be a content creator, what's the checklist that we should like kind of go through and say, do I, because there are a lot of folks in here want to know that question, right? Should we go for it? Do we not go for it? What should we ask ourselves?
Well, one thing is, like, growing up, you used to ask a child, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now you can ask, you know, you could do that now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I have know a friend, she's 8 years old, she does spices and cooking, and she's got her own line, and, you know, it's on Amazon, and because they started, you need to know your own household. If your own household is a hot mess, you don't need to be putting your stuff out there, you know? You don't need to put it
That's
out
life
there.
advice.
You know, just don't put it out there. But like if you if you're Beyonce's parents or like King Richard, you know, like you put their focus. Or one of my close friends, JoJo Siwa, like they had a plan.
Right.
She was young.
Yep.
They did it. She is fine.
And that was a lot of strategy.
There was strategy. Like, it wasn't like the kid was just out there by themselves and doing everything. The parents were involved.
Yep. Right.
You know, and so that's, if they're involved, if at least your mom was somebody involved in it, and like, okay, so we're not going to take this deal. You can't have people just come to the house, or you can't show up to this. Like, then you can do that.
Right.
Because the internet is free. You could be making money. You could be making millions. You know, why are you being scared? You know, I mean, in anything, you name something, somebody's making money from it. Like,
absolutely.
We're all gonna just knit blue cats. Well, there's a group that's gonna knit blue cats, and we're gonna watch you knit this blue, you know, braid hair, this kind of thing. Like, you put it out there, but.
Yes.
Now, you don't have to tell your address exactly where you are, but they're going to find out, though. They're going to find out. But that's why you want to be nice. You don't want people like, you said something about my mama, and they show up, you know.
I love it, because it's true. You just got to assess.
Yes.
Figure it out. Okay.
Yes.
All right, next.
So, well, on that, we kind of touched on authenticity, and I know we're getting to a point where we're going to want to ask questions from the audience.
Yes.
But we touched on that authenticity. One of the things that we see, though, is like a lot of fake authenticity, right? People trying but not really getting there.
Yes.
Like you read as very authentic. You're having a very authentic conversation with us. Like do you see the difference in where you were to where you are in terms of like how people present authenticity, how people present themselves? And you're just talking about like how much of yourself you put out there. Like, have you changed that trajectory too in all the years you've been doing this?
Well, when people put themselves out there and they're not real, it's going to show up sometime. You can only be fake for so long. You know, and you see people and you're like, oh, they making it. I know that's not how they really are. But then eventually, it'll crash and burn. You know, sometimes you're like, I wish it had crashed and burned earlier. But, you know, because you're just like, I'm doing it the right way. And, you know, you got people but it always happens. So stay true to yourself. Now, I could be a bigger star if I did some horrible things or with some horrible people. You know, especially with so much social media, it comes out. You know, so-and-so got that job because they did so-and-so. And then you know that so-and-so is really like so-and-so, so like that. You know, it will come out. Because everybody has eyes, everybody has a camera. You can't do anything. You know, it's going to come out. So be authentic. If you this way, be this way. You know, if you that way, be that way. you know, from the jump. And everybody be more accepting, you know, and it's all good.
I love that. And I think that that's so true. People will be accepting. It's not that you have to be perfect. You are, but be who you are from the jump.
Yeah.
Yes.
And let people know that. I think that's a great place to go to audience questions.
Okay.
Okay, so we want to transition with
MCs back.
our MCs. We got Nicole right here. You got James back there. And they've got mics, so raise your hand. Oh, you got one right here.
Say it one
Okay, it is on. Here you go.
Oh, here she goes.
Hey, Queen. I have a question. So if you was able to tell your younger self anything from where you at right now, what would you tell yourself?
If I can tell my younger self something, I'd be like, you know what? You got it right. You know, you got it right. If you can be on the internet for more than 10 years and you have no beef with nobody has said, like, you know, like want to sue you or want to do anything or try to blackmail you, you know, you did it right. Because they're telling you there's times it's like, well, you know what? You know, I can be sexy. I can just throw that out there. Maybe I'll get more hits, you know, like, you do what other people do, even though that's not authentic to me. Do that if that's you, you know. But that's not me. I would be trying to just get more hits or just get out there quicker or da-da-da-da-da, you know. So that's what I would tell my youngest. You did it. It's going to take you longer. But it's okay. You're going to still be there 10 years from now. You're going to be, 10 years from now, somebody's going to still want to see you, show up at Delta College and via Zoom. Thank you. You know. Good question. Yes.
What's up, Troy? Hey, how's it going? You already touched on this a little bit when you were talking about how you evaluate what brand deals you will do, but how do you separate the personal from the political in terms of your activism and the values that you hold? Like, how do you consider yourself an activist, or how do you support activism efforts that you believe in, and how does that affect your brand?
That's really interesting, because I did my best to stay away from anything political, and then so the president called you, then what you gonna say? I was just like, me, I have posted nothing political. Why you know, and probably why, because I didn't say, I hate this person. Right. So political or too religious. I would be put spiritual, you know, like everyone loves everybody no matter what kind of a thing, because no matter what you say, some group. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could put out love, you know, like, oh my goodness, I had a great time. Let's just say it Friday. Why are you doing it? Like, oh, I had a great time. And I went to Utah and I met some Mormons. They were really nice. You know what they into, you know, like, no matter what, yes. You know. So I feel like I don't obviously put it out there, you know, but for me, I'm a love all great person, kind of, we're gonna get along no matter what. And I've seen so much a difference. Like when I was growing up, there was just certain groups. Now there's a whole lot of groups, and there's more groups coming, and you know, and you just go with the flow. And I have no problem with that. And I teach my daughter that we love the person. Mm-hmm. Or the spirit of the person. Some people don't even want to be called people, and that's fine too. Whatever, you know. We all got to get along here, and there's other things. You know, there's so much stuff going. Now, see, now I'll never get political. Now here we go. Like, look at what happened. You know, at these schools, and you trying to fight a group of people or people that are not hurting anybody just because they believe this or they love these type of people. You know, like, concentrate on the crazy stuff that's going on. You know, who cares who you love? What I got to do with anything? Okay, now let me get off my soapbox, because that's usually not where I go. But I'm just like, come on, it's almost getting to a point where somebody like me has to say something. Mm. You know, and you have to say something not just for the people that look like me, or, you know, you got to say something for your friends, you know. Mm-hmm. It's getting to that point, because, like, it's dangerous for my friends, and I got to say something. Mm-hmm. Don't get me, I'm like, because, like, come on now. I just want to be silly and fun, but I can't be like, oh, okay, they're getting ostracized, they're getting killed or whatever, blah, 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 but, you know, let's just smile over here. Like, I got to walk in the trenches, too. I got to be with my friends, the people who support me. Mm-hmm. Whether they don't look like me, we don't believe the same, but we You human, we good. Well, let's or not human, whatever you want to call yourself. I gotta support them too. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm a theater major here, and I'm leading the show that's coming up next year. So I was just gonna ask, because I know you're into acting.
Yes.
Like, what would your advice be for someone who is like an aspiring actress?
Okay, first of all, you are an actor. You're not aspiring. You in the play, right? Okay. So first of all, you got to know who you are. You an actor, right? Or actress, however you want to. Okay. And then just know, people think like, oh, who's your favorite, and that's who you study. When I did stand-up, and I still do from time to time, there were people who were horrible. And I used to think, you're never gonna make it, you're not funny, you're literally getting booed. Kept coming back. I'm like, you don't have to watch the greatest ones. Watch the ones that keep showing up. They can have no talent, but they believe in themselves enough. And I'm like, how can you keep coming back? And now I see them in television and commercials and things like that. And just like, I remember when I'm like, I'm thinking, you're not gonna make it, you're not funny, you're horrible. So my advice would be to keep going. You know, to keep going. Don't think like, I'm the star of this show, so therefore I'm going to be. LA, they don't care. They're not going to care. They'll be like, okay, now when you get your degree, you have a better foundation. You know, but you got to really know that, hey, I'm starting from scratch, I'm starting over, and I'm gonna use that knowledge that I did in the plays and everything, so I'll know how to hang this. I don't know if this is how you go, but I have a BFA in musical theater. We had to learn how to do the set, paint the set, light the set. You had to do all, that's what's gonna be super beneficial to you. Not just that you were in the play, but you had to know how to set up the play, and tear everything down, and the long nights and everything, and, to be behind the stage, because if you learn that part, that's going to last longer than being in front. Just saying. Yes.
Hi, GloZell.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Is you okay?
Yeah. Okay, so I was just wondering if you've ever been scarred from one of your challenges that you do. If you've ever had, one of the challenges, you've done many challenges.
Yes.
And I was just wondering if you've had like emotional damage from any of those.
Oh.
If you get flashbacks to like the cinnamon challenge or like your warhead challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Have I had any? First of all, the cinnamon challenge, what I didn't say, because I was like, people gonna be doing it just because of that, I was hallucinating for hours. Really? I was like, does anybody else see that dancing dog in the corner? I mean, with a tutu just going, I mean, like, I was messed up, And even now, like, after a while, my voice will go out because of that cinnamon challenge. I burned my cords, my esophagus just tore it up. I was on the show, The Doctors, Dr. Drew, all these, and they put down there like, oh, yeah, it's all burnt up, so there's damage. I'm like, oh, goodness, and I need my voice. So I don't sing as much as at all, but yes, there is some serious damage. And I went down a fireman's pole once. And I broke my leg, and my right leg is metal. I do this for you people, right? And now after 6 years, the metal is starting to grow out. So I'm just like, oh my goodness. So yeah, you can come for my leg afterwards and feel the metal. But yeah, there is that. I've done damage, yes. Lots of it.
Nicole, behind you.
Yeah, no, what? Right there.
It's all right. I'm invisible. Hi.
I knew you was going to say that, and don't you say that about yourself. Do you understand that? Do not say that.
Thank you.
I see you.
I want to sink into the floor and die. Anyways, so deeper cut, but as a content creator, you have to grapple with the algorithm. And the algorithm, the AI, and it decides what's going to be popular before it's even popular. So as a woman and as a black woman and as a black female comedian, how do you contend with the algorithm?
What was interesting when I started that I thought that my audience looked like me. So I did a meet and greet, and it was all these people. There's some in Asian Indians, some Spanish, mostly white. And I was just like, somebody else is having something here, and I don't appreciate them double booking, you know? And I was just thinking, like, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna tell these people off because I really don't appreciate that. And I go in and I started to go, and it was this cute little white boy. He's like, GloZell. I'm like, oh, hi. I'm like, so what are you doing here? He's like, I'm here for you. I'm like, you're here for me? And it's here, I thought everybody gonna look like Oprah. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought. But the internet, you know, allows you to find your audience. But I'm a little bit lighter, a little bit younger acting as far as my comedy, you know, it didn't appeal. Or I was like, is there no black people on the internet? I don't know, like, do they not have a computer? I don't understand. Like, my audience was not black at all until I interviewed President Barack Obama. They were like, hey, sister girl, hey, honey child. You know, it was different walking out the door then. So, so I don't know how, so I kind of missed that. For the most part, the people who are looking at me don't look like me, for the most part. You know, the black female is not interested in me, you know, watching somebody swim in the cereal and tub, you know, and doing all these crazy challenges for the most part. So, but I have, that algorithm has been an issue because they change it all the time. Mm-hmm. They change it whether you black, white, it don't even matter. They change it all the time. Every day it changes, and your money can go up, down, your views can go up, down, because before it wasn't that many people on the internet. We're talking about more than 10 years ago. And now they say there's over 8,000 videos every second uploaded every day. Mm-hmm. And that was the last time I checked, 8,000 every second. We're talking all over the world. So that's that. So, you know, but if you change the algorithm for me, you change it for you and you and you and you. We're all being changed. So you ride that out, you know. So you just post. Because you only need one person to see you to change your life. You don't need one person. That not only see you, that do something. Like, yes, I run into, I'm at this thing, and I'm like, Sharon, she was like, oh my goodness, I watch your videos, help me. You know, I'm running to, I'm like, oh my gosh, Oprah, Oprah's like, you're so funny. Help me! You know, you think I don't need that Oprah money? You know, that Oprah help? You know, like, you know me, you know, like, help me for the most part. But on the internet, you don't look like you need help. Like, look, you're sitting here, you're here, you're at this party, you're with Sherry, I'm with you, you know. No, trust me, you don't know what them people are going through. Mm-hmm. And the people you think can help you can't help you because you don't know what they're tied into, what's going on. And there's another thing, some of that stuff is coming up, like things that used to stay secret, you know? So be true to yourself and don't ever look at somebody like, I want to be like them, you know, because I used to do that. And you meet some of these people and you're just like, they messed up. Mm-hmm.
That's so real.
They all messed up. You're like, oh my goodness gracious, I'm doing better, you know?
That is great advice.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes.
So you started talking about Oprah money.
Oprah money.
And I think for a lot of people, becoming an influencer, that's a dream job for so many now. And kids and everyone through adulthood. My question to you is, as you make that a career, how do you monetize your content, and how did you start monetizing your content?
Okay, for me,
if you don't mind me asking.
I don't mind you asking, because that's what people want. That's the bottom line. To anything is love and money. Like, you got to live, and you got to have somebody. You want to have somebody with you. You know, whether it's a kid or a spouse or whatever. So. How did I start monetizing? They hadn't started monetizing, you know, like when I started. Then it was like, but whenever you have an audience, there's somebody who wants to get to that audience. So once you build your audience, somebody's gonna be like, hey, do you want to advertise this? You want to do this? You want to that? So I remember when I was making $10 a day on the internet, I'm like, I'm rich. What? I can make $70 a week? And I'm like, what? And then you can do that without adding any videos, without doing anything, because the videos, they're up, you know. Then, of course, the algorithm happens, and they're like, nobody sees. And then like, we'll change it again. They're like, what? So you get a check for $2, and you get a check for $2,000, you know. I've been in Forbes, and I've been in the food line. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, you got to do what you got to do. And things go, you know. So I don't know, if I answer all your questions, how do you get monetized? You get an audience. You post. But if you're posting only for money, then there's going to be an issue because the money's going to change all the time. You're going to be like, this is good, I'm good, and then you're going to start taking care of your sister, your cousin, your mom, and this, I eat, we all eat. And then it all drops down, and then they find somebody else, and you're sitting there by yourself. And then, you find your way again, and then you're like, okay, now I'm going to be better about my money. And that's where I am. I'm going to be better about my money.
And that's another thing you've been so open with everybody about. You talk about the fact that you have been in Forbes and you have stood in the food line and you've seen people who are wondering, well, why is GloZell here?
And I'm taking pictures. I'm like, I might as well take pictures because this is going to be part of my testimony. I'll be like, thank you for the can of beans. My daughter was like, thank you. I'm like, smile, because we're not going to always be here. We know who we are. And this is where we are right now, but we know, I feel like, once again, Tina Turner, like, I got my name. So after going through a divorce, and I'm like, you have everything. I built once before, I can build again. Just leave me alone. So that's the power of the internet. Use it for your good. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So my question is, how do you deal with your content that you make? How do you deal with people that don't like it? Like, do you use it to make you stronger, or do you use it and just ignore it?
How do I deal with people who what?
How do you deal with people that don't like your content? Do you ignore it, or?
I'm telling you, the people who don't like your content are the ones that's gonna make you famous. Ooh. They're the ones who be like, look at this, look, and then share, look at what she did. Girl, show your sister, show your cousin, look at this,
Get
look
this
at what she did. I don't like this, I don't like it. Okay, I'm gonna just share it over there because I can't stand what, thank you. Thank you. What people assume that, when I interviewed former President Barack Obama, they assumed that I'm along with every one of his views. I'm like, I was asked to interview, I interviewed. That's what I did, So that video ended up on some anti-Obama things, and the videos, I'm like, you do know I'm getting mad. I'm like, you helping me. Thank you, because you hate Obama. Like, great, thank you very much. So that doesn't, sometimes, and the people that are closest to you, they'll be the ones that don't share squat. They'll be like, they'll be on Facebook showing you other people's stuff. They're not sharing yours. You too close. You can't do better than me. But look at what somebody else is doing, and they'll show you somebody else's. So the people around you, that's not the ones that's gonna help you. The haters or the people who love you outside of that, they are, because they've been there, and they're the ones that are like, oh, she's still doing this. Now she on the internet. Oh gosh, but other people are like, this is great. This is fun. They don't know you. They don't know your personal stuff. So the haters, they'll hate. They'll help you. Good. Thank you. Spread it. It's all good. Don't look at the comments though.
Okay, so earlier you had said how you grew from just being a YouTuber to now there are so many platforms you can be on. My question, I guess, is, maybe it's a two-form question. Is there any platforms that you don't want to be on, that you choose not to deal with? Or, how do you balance having content on every platform? YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Twitter.
Do you recycle your content? Do you make the same stuff and kind of just chop it up differently, or?
I do now. I do. I have over 3,000 videos on YouTube. On YouTube, that sounded YouTube. On YouTube, and
it's a trend.
Yes,
let's go with it.
Yeah,
let's blow with it.
So let's blow with it. So that's been edited because TikTok is a little shorter, and if you take TikTok, because before I'm like, let me just share to everything, but video views is different when you upload authentically. So even if it's the same video, don't share it, upload it again on Instagram Reels. And from Instagram Reels, don't just share it to Facebook, upload it to Facebook. That is a trick, because they're not trying to help you on somewhere else. So if so don't film it in TikTok unless that's where you want to live. Because see, now TikTok, they're going to court now over TikTok.
Right.
people are getting, they're going to, and like, is that going to stay, whatever? For me, I'm like, I don't mind, because my bread and butter always has been, YouTube, and then all the things has been spread out. So whatever you're going to do, just do it, because I was on Snapchat, and there was other things, and there was Kik, and there was Vine, and Twitter was big, and now Twitter's like gone, but now it's big again, and it's growing, and where you gonna put it? So I focus on your main ones. YouTube. Now YouTube has YouTube Short, so now I'm doing more videos there, and that's great, and that's what I call my home. So I'm like, yay, because there was a time where I wasn't getting any traction at YouTube, and now Instagram, Facebook, and if someone asked me about monetizing, it doesn't matter about monetizing, because somebody can see you and you make money somewhere else. I have a friend, her name is Colleen, and she does Miranda Sings. I guess I can talk about her. She does a lot of parodies. So she's not making money singing other people's songs. But people know who she is, and she does live concerts, and she would fill this concert 3 times over, 10 times over. So her money is not necessarily coming from that directly, but now she can do concerts, because you've seen her on the internet. I want to see you live, and the T-shirts, and the lipstick, all that stuff that you can sell. So if you got to post. The most talented people I know don't post. They're scared. They want to make sure it's perfect. I don't have the right camera. You can use your iPhone. People doing movies on iPhones. You know what I'm saying? Like or whatever your phone is. Put it out there. That's that. Any more questions?
Question right here.
I think we have time for probably one more question.
Okay.
Or at the end of our
I'm thirsty.
If you had the chance to do reality TV, would you do reality TV? And if so, would you do reality TV, or would you do like a competition reality TV?
You said reality TV? When I broke my leg, I was supposed to go on Amazing Race.
Oh.
And a part of me is like, did I really not want to go on? Can I just get a cold, Lord? Like why I had to break my leg? But it worked out, because I would have missed my daughter's birth, but I was like, but I would have made some money, and how the exposure from that. So part of me feel like, okay, and I still kind of question that. Would I go on a reality show? I would. I wish it was something that they could tape at my place, because I do have a child, and you usually are gone for months. But I have to be like, you want to eat, don't you? Yeah, you do. You want to stay in that private school, don't you? Yeah, because your daddy ain't paying for you. Yes, So if the opportunity came up, then, and also depending on what it is, I don't know. I don't need to be a next top model, but I don't know what I'm picking shows that's old, because nobody watch TV, like the Love of Flavor Flav. I don't need to be on like some kind of wild show, but sometimes those dollar bills, you just kind of like, well, maybe we can figure out something, but first, I would love for it to fall into my brand, family friendly. That's my brand.
Okay. Wow, I feel like we have had a lesson. Today was a school in learning, right? I mean, a lot of us had all these questions, and you have just shared so much insight.
Thank you for having me, and I hope to be back again. You guys are amazing. And again, when you think about, there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was no nothing when I started. Now you have classes on it. Classes. I feel like, oh, that's great. Amazing. And look at the setup. I'm like, applause to everybody who did this, who are part of this. I feel like, hey. Make sure you get my picture so I can post it. You got my picture? Did you get my picture, cousin?
I got your picture here.
Okay, all right. People are like, how that white lady your cousin? Her husband is my first cousin, so I don't be like, this my cousin-in-law. They be like, my cousin. Plus she cooks, so she feed me. I got no problem with that.
You want to tell people to take a class
with her? We're going to ask for the recipe at some point.
Please. She is funny. She's witty. She is my cousin. Make sure you take her class. She's anthropology. The things that she does just blow your mind what she's talking about, and child, it's more than just monkeys and what they do. And I was watching the video, I'm like, they do all that? Oh my goodness. So anyway, I'm gonna try it. Excellent.
Fantastic. So we are so grateful, and we just want to say thank you, GloZell, one more time. On behalf of everybody, we just want to remind everyone that this event was made possible by the Cultural Awareness Program that has efforts to increase all the different knowledge that we have about all the different facets of life so that we can increase our own capacity for compassion. Also, it is a Women's History Month committee, and so as we are closing out Women's History Month, I just would like to acknowledge the folks in the room. If you are part of Women's History Month, could you please stand up so we can give you a round of applause?
Our leader, Lynn Hawley.
Thank you.
So can we take some pictures?
Now, I was going to say, if students would like to take some pictures with you, form a line on the side here to take some pictures with GloZell.
A line.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, GloZell.
Thank you. So somebody can help me with this line if they want to form a line.
Yeah, there is a line.
And